3, 2. All right, movie lovers, TV lovers, I have a special edition of the Contenders right here from YouTube Space, New York, with #1 film critic, broadcast film critic, and my favorite New York film critic, Mr. Wilson Morales. We got a lot to talk about. We got fall festivals, we got Emmys, and we got the Oscars coming a little bit down the road. So let's start off with the big question that a lot of people are going to ask. Is this going to be a repeat of last year? We're going to be talking hashtag Oscars so white again this year.
Nah, I think this year we have a number of legitimate contenders, you know, starting off with Loving, which played at Cannes. It stars Ruth Negga, who's in the movie, and she's gotten a lot of buzz out of that film. She's going to be contending possibly with Viola Davis, who is starring along with Denzel Washington in Fences, which was based on the Tony-winning play by August Wilson. So those are just two. And then you have The Birth of a Nation, which was the big Sundance Award winner. And it's had some up and downs recently because of some controversy. But, you know, if Nate Parker can be talked about in a positive way based on the art of the film can have long legs.
Okay. So the early buzz for Miles Ahead, you're not thinking anything's going to happen with that?
It's a tricky question. It was an April release. You know, the studio, Sony Pictures Classic, will have to campaign hard for the movie. I believe the movie had got mixed reviews. And when you come out that early, you have to be a legitimate contender throughout the year in order to be still talked about. And unless it's a weak year, I don't see Don Cheadle getting one of the 5 slots.
Before we even get to Oscars and everything, it's fall and we have Toronto International Film Festival and Telluride. What movies can we expect to open and make a splash at these festivals?
Well, Toronto is the big juggernaut. You know, that's where a lot of films are going to be shown. That's where the buzz starts going for a lot of these movies. One in particular is Manchester by the Sea. Another film that played at Sundance, and lately people have been talking about that that's going to probably be the film to beat. You have La La Land, you know, which is playing out there. You have, as I mentioned before, The Birth of the Nation. You have a number of films that's going to be playing out there that, at this point, you think about last year, Spotlight and Room were 2 films that no one talked about initially, but after Toronto, those are the 2 biggest films that came out of there, and they ended up winning.
Yeah.
Best Picture and Best Actress.
Yeah, and it's also Queen of Conway.
Queen of Conway with Lupita Nyong'o and David Oyelowo. You have United Kingdom, which hasn't had a distributor yet, but that also stars David Oyelowo and Rosamund Pike, directed by Amma Asante. So, you know, you've got
Amma Asante from
Belle. She directed that movie, That Belle, with Google and Bata Raw.
Okay. Well, I know Casey Affleck. I mean, he's been in the award mix before, so this might be his year again.
From the colleagues that I've spoken to that have seen Manchester by the Sea, they believe he should be a lock for a nomination. You know, the film got good buzz out of Sundance. It's Kenneth Lonergan's movie starring Casey Affleck, Michelle Williams, who's also being talked about, Kyle Chandler. So, you know, Manchester by the Sea, Loving, La La Land. You have Annalise Billy Lynn's Long Walk, which is going to play at the New York Film Festival. That could be a surprise. No one has seen it yet. So you have a lot of films that no one's seen yet. On paper, they seem to be poised. You know, they have the ingredients to be talked about as a contender.
So Southside with you, I haven't heard you mention that. Is that gonna just miss the mark? Or is it?
It's an August release. I think they need more buzz out of it. It's roadside attractions. I think Tika Sumpter did a great job. Parker Sawyers is a newcomer, and I think sometimes when you get in these races, for Best Actor, you know, you have to be really good to withstand the veterans we've heard about before.
Right.
And same thing for Tika. You know, so Tika is a newcomer, she's great, but when you're playing up against the likes of Viola Davis, Michelle Williams, or anybody else that may come up, you know, the question is, will Southside have enough marketing still going on come December when people are still talking about these movies to get in the race?
Now, when I heard that Birth of a Nation was going to be at Toronto, I immediately thought back to 2 or 3 years ago with 12 Years a Slave and another Searchlight release and the buzz that it picked up from Toronto. But then all this controversy came around Nate Parker. Do you think the controversy is going to derail the Oscar buzz that's been talked about since Sundance?
We won't know till Toronto. It got played at Sundance, great reviews. From those who've seen it since there, like, you know, they keep talking about the movie great, but within the last 2 weeks, with all the controversy surrounding Nate Parker, you know, the film has more negative outside of the film. So the question is, can you separate the art from the arts? You know, and when it plays at Toronto, you'll know whether or not it's a glowing reception or if it's DOA.
Yeah, I mean, but what do you think about this whole controversy? Because it's not like Nate Parker was hiding from his past. I mean, it's all this stuff was in Wikipedia, it's been spoke about during great debaters, junket rounds, and I mean,
you know, it's a tough subject. You know, you can kind of say there's a double standard. We don't know what lies ahead for the film because you've had other individuals like a Woody Allen, like a Roman Polanski, who've all been in the same plateau, so to speak, but yet they continue to make films, they continue to get accolades. Nate Parker's film career is not just starting, but his career as a director in that spotlight is, and the question is, will you let him get out the gate?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm a pull for Nate. I like the guy, and I think, you know, he was adjudicated, he went through the thing, I think, you know, like you said, Roman Polanski, Woody Allen.
But they, you know, but the thing is, those filmmakers had already had a history of positive films as a director.
Yeah.
You know, Nate Parker hasn't. You know, the mainstream audience doesn't know who Nate Parker is. We know who Nate Parker is from the films that he's done, Great Debaters, Red Tails, Beyond the Lights, but now he's in the mainstream spotlight. The question is, you know, will they let him get that spotlight knowing what they know now?
Right.
You know, or will they separate, as I mentioned, the art, the film, which is what they looked at, which is what they love at Sundance, and tell it as it is.
All right, guys, when we come right back, we're going to talk about Emmys with Wilson Morales on this edition of The Contenders. Stay tuned.